If you've got those questions, I'm hoping we haven't lost you all. So before we lost you, we've done the scraper we've got in the vise. All right, so number 2, please, on camera. All right, we're there. We've gone across this with our burnisher. We produced our hook on here, okay? So just going to mark that one, just so you know. That's what we did with the Kirsten burnisher, with my little nylon wheel, okay? Just going to turn this over, and then we're going to come to the camera with something else. So this is possibly a little bit of a recap, but okay. Then got this new burnisher. This has just come in. This is French made by a company called Arnaud. Now, if you're looking to buy one of these, go careful. There is a burnisher, there is a cutter, all right, and a sharpener. You want the burnisher if you're going to do this. If you buy the cutter, it will remove material. It's more for your garden shears, those sort of things, all right? So make sure you get the right one. This has a nice cast aluminium handle, has little thumb grip, which some of you are going to go, really? Does it? It gives you somewhere to put your pressure as you're pushing through. Quite nice to use. Next important thing, on here, there is 2 carbide rods. So the one I'm pointing at with the pencil now is rounded, it's a bar. The other side, if I turn it around, is a triangle tip, okay? So the triangle is a bit more aggressive. So if you wanted a heavier burr on your carbide scrapers, all right, on the cabinet scrapers, that will put a heavier burr on. Turn it around, the round one's going to give us a better burr for what we're doing, okay? Next thing I like is these little angles on here. They give us about a 5-degree angle, so it makes it useful for you to know where you're setting up to. Let me just run back to here. Cohen's probably go back to camera 1, Ben. What have you got?
Okay, so we've got a question from Grendel 1960A. Could you use a carving knife sharpening steel to sharpen scrapers?
What you've got to ensure is that what you are trying to use to sharpen the scraper is harder in Rockwell, hardness tested. So these are tungsten. I've seen tungsten carbide rods like this, the Lie-Nielsen one is. This is a polished hardened steel bar. So these could be high-speed steel. A carving chisel I don't think will be hard enough. If it was a turning tool of high-speed steel, probably yes. Okay? But you need something harder. You will soon know if it's not working because your cabinet scraper will produce a mark in your metal bar, which you don't want because that's going to leave a ragged edge on your cabinet scraper. As you pull it across, it's going to damage what you've spent all that time dressing and getting clean. Okay, all right, okay. So, Colin, back to 2 for me, please. Okay, so we've got our scraper in the vise here. Got that Arnaud, right, burnisher. We've got the round edge. Other good thing you can do with this, a little bit of wax. Candle wax will help, okay? And that's a weird thing. I've also said to you we've got the little side wing down on here, top and bottom, which they class as a finger guard or thumb guard. If I line it up so it's straight, that's helping give me my 5-degree angle. I can push it through, pull it back. Different noise on this one, okay? Going to turn it round. Go around to there, okay? Lock it back in the vise. Again, trying to make it so you can see. I'm naturally right-handed, so I like to work that way round. Again, set your position. Don't drop this on too hard. Tungsten's quite brittle. Go along, come back. Okay, 3 or 4 swipes. Now we have a burr. Okay, let's have a look now. So the line this side, it's one we sharpened with the other round bar. This one's got tiny burr. Okay, there. This side, a little bit more, I can feel that, okay? So that looks quite good. So just going to have a look now, we're going to go down to the other end. Number 3, Colin, if you can. Good, all right, so let's put them down on there. Now, first of all, let's go with the pen line one. All right, so the round burnisher. No difference, but I want to give you an idea, these will cut. This should produce a shaving. We don't want dust. So, bend it a bit. Okay, now, other important thing, and I naturally do this when I walk into a scraper now, this angle, where do we put this is going to affect what you get. So in other words, if you're upright, it's not going to work. We've got to tilt it over a little, find where it's going to cut. So nothing there, gently lean forward, it'll cut. Now hoping we're getting lovely shaving, okay? Now, so you don't think I'm cheating, let's move those out of the way. Push down through. Now we're actually working against the grain. If I come the opposite way, pull towards me, actually easier for me to do because I'm working in the grain direction, but that's not always possible. So we've done the one with the rod. On a one, let's have a look. We're getting lovely shaving off of there, okay? Now this is quite hard, dense material. I'm actually pushing in behind. For the guys that have done lots of this, you will know this becomes quite repetitive on your thumbs, the pressure, the pushing. These actually get hot. So we've even got little finger mitts, look. So let's just put one on and show you. I was going to wear all four, but difficult to do when we're doing this. Okay, so these are leather. Okay, so I could wear one on thumb and fingers, gives me something to grip, push with nicely. Okay, so we're pinched together, helps stop the burning. It also gives you a bit more grip. Really good for that. Okay, so we've done that on there. Now, just going to go back to camera 2, Colin, for me, please. Good. When we started this scraper, we took it out of the packet, we filed it, we dressed it on the stone. We don't have to go through that sequence every time. Okay, we can resharpen this 6 or 7 times before we have to go back to that stage. I'm just going to lock my vise up to stop it moving around. I'm going to put it on something flat. I put it up on here because you can see easier. The rounded bar, I can put there. We're going to consolidate the material now. We're going to push it back over. 3 swipes. Same again. Trying to be nice and flat now. Give you an idea of what's happening here. No bear again now. I think you can see that quite nicely. We do the other side with the pen line. I've got a little lip. I can just feel it. Okay. So there's our pen line. That's the side we did with the round bar. This is the side we've just taken the burr back off, back into the vise. Tighten it back up. Our round bar again. Put on fingertips, line up our angle, push down 3 or 4 times. We produce a burr. Going to turn it round. Oh. And back in. Line back up so you can see that on the camera. Find our round bar. If I do more, it'll put a heavier burr on. So hopefully now, if I got that right, we should get a cut again. So we're going to bounce all the way back down the other end. Okay, good, fantastic. All right, look at this. So we're getting nice, clean shavings. This is cutting, it's not producing dust. So actually we're getting a cleaner surface than you might get off your hand plane that might actually tear the grain out on this. So flat scraper, quite easy to do. Just going to do one other really quickly to give you that sequence of how quick we can do it. We'll go with a bigger one. So I want to show you just another type of burnisher, and then we're going to look at something else as well. So where do we start? Flat there. File it. Produce a new surface, produce that crisp corner. Push in line with the scraper, so therefore you don't bounce it about. Take that out. Move a few things about. Dress that edge, get rid of all those chipped areas, the file teeth marks. Yeah, it's running. Just going to take the burr off the edge very lightly. Going to come over 1200 grit. So I'm going up through the grades. Now we're using the scary sharpening system, not a waterstone, because this will cut the waterstone and produce a line in it. So the idea with this, really just to dress that edge, refine it a lot more so we haven't got lots of teeth marks on it. This is something you will need to do when you definitely buy a new scraper to file up through. We used a smooth cut file. Don't want anything too coarse. So we've just done through that area quite quickly, got a little bit of a bear on there still. So let's dress that right back. A little bit of pressure down on there. Just going to go a couple more of those. Up into here. Okay, line up with the camera again for you. So far we've looked at your burnishers. There, we've got round bar, which is hardened steel rod, probably high-speed steel. We've got the tungsten carbide inserts on here. This is something Veritas make. And it helps give you your angle. I make it look so simple as an angle. So what have we got on here? We've got a whole handpiece we can hold. Your scraper will fit down through the slot you're going to see in a second. If I undo this brass knob on the top, I can take this out. Inside here, if I grab my bit of paper and come over to there, you've got a round wheel with a tungsten rod. So the brass wheel has a little tungsten rod set at an angle, okay? Also on the front of here, there's a little scale, which is the dial we say. There's a little mark I know that's on there, so it tells me a position, okay? So when we put it back into here, there is a scale. I'll come back over with it on here. So I can dial this round to get my angle. So I can have 5 degrees, 10 degrees. I'm going to put my glasses on. Okay, bring it round up to the top. We want 5 degrees, okay? Lock it off. Now the idea of this is this sits over. Now I've just got to check that I've got enough out of the vise to reach that. Okay, so that will sit on. So in other words, dropping in that edge up to there. Clear the pin, which is up here. We know where that is. Bit of pressure, pull it towards you. I find this easier to pull towards me. Okay, we've got 3 there. We're just going to turn this round. We're going to do 3 the other side. Okay. So that hardened rod going to hopefully produce a little bit of a bear, a little bit there, not too heavy a bear, quite nice. Good bear the other side as well. So let's just bring it down to here. Got one other thing. We're going to go back and use it again, but I want to play here. So to make sure you know what we're doing, we've done that edge. Okay, I'll just tilt that up so you can see we've got a pen mark on there. Okay, going to go to there, going to push this through. Now it's produced a bear and it's producing a bit of a shaving, not as good as the others. This is quite a stiff scraper. This is 1 mil thick. I've got bear there. Okay, now we put 5 degrees on. Going to go back into our vise. Okay, just going to bring it round so you can see my little arrow. So we're working on that side, back to there. Tighten it up. Now we can add more of a hook by increasing the angle. So I'm bringing it up a bit more. They recommend you start with 5. If you want to make a heavier bear, having done the 5 degrees, then you do something heavier on top. So you're not trying to bend it all in one heavy go. Okay. Now hopefully, if I get my rod, look. Okay, you can see we've got our edge. Okay, let's see what this will do. So back down to the run. All right, so that's producing shaving gum. This is much thicker to try and bend. All right, thinner ones, which are more flexible, will bend easier. So get into those tight areas can be good. All right, so those difficult areas. So we've got our flat scrapers. Let's put those 4 back together. Move our bag back to camera 1, Cohen, can you move? So, got a few other shapes now. So, other bag, again, brand new. We've got flat ones, but they have a curved radius and a hollow end. All right, different thicknesses. We have 2 gooseneck scrapers, okay? Really useful. Now, I know when we've made Windsor chairs and we get certain comments, so let's move a few bits of wood about. We need to put this up into the vise, have a clean up for a second, open the vise out. Okay, that pin goes in there. Okay. Our chair seat, okay? We need to be able to shape it. So I expect it to go to 3 a minute, Cohen, hopefully. Okay, we've got this hollow in here. Now, we work a lot on trying to do these. People say, how do you shape your seat? We use an in shape. So we work across the grain. Okay, that'll cut. So that'll come across there nicely, okay? We can obviously use a spoke shape to come in the front areas. and we can get back so far. When we get back to about here, where the handle's joining, the handle starts to rub and it lifts the spoke shape up. We can't get right into this corner. Makes it very difficult to clean this area out. So one of the most useful things we have to get there is a scraper. So we have our two new ones. We have our ones we've sharpened, which will allow us to get into here and produce a shaving. I can change my angle. I'm now working across the end grain, pushing that round, okay? So really useful piece of kit. But again, as new out the packet, nothing. Doesn't work effectively. So how do you sharpen these? Exactly the same way. Your flat ones are easier to sharpen. So let's go back down the other end then. We're going to go to our vise. Which of these shall I go with? Let's go with a slightly thicker one. Okay, so our new scraper. Going to put this up in the vise. Okay, need to do one other thing now. Whilst they're there, I'm just going to change the jaws on the vise. I need something with a little bit more access. So hoping this won't take me too long. So 4 little bolts to undo. Take them on there. And done, hopefully. Undo my vise. Open these out. Okay. Bear with me. Now I need a bit more access to get to the shape in here. So I bolted these together when I made them so we know that we keep them together and we don't lose them. Nearly there. Take that one out. Front one, going to put in there. So these have got nuts just up in the inside. The bolts fit in. I can bolt these in. Done up there. It's done. So I'm right-handed. Let's swing that round. Makes my life a bit easier. Put that in there. Tighten those up. Okay. Quick and simple to do. So we'll have our vise back round. Glasses back on. Our scraper. Brand new, nice and clean. Okay. Nothing on here. Don't want you to think I'm cheating. Look, all right. Okay. Nothing at all. No catch, no rub. So into our vise. You can now hopefully see why I wanted some different jaws in here. A lot more access to get into this shape. So I can sharpen any of that. Going to bring it back round to me a little bit so I'm there on the corner. Tighten it up. Our file again. No handle, softened edge on the back. We've got to push up round, produce our shape. Cut a new area of material. If you want to get any further round, you obviously do this bit. You can then move it round in the vise to continue your shape. Most of what I'm doing here by coming nice and low and up over is going to be a good enough area to use. So we've done there. Let's move our bolts. Declutter a little bit. Lose the burnisher. Our scraper. We've got a little bit of an edge that we just produced with the file. We need to dress this. Okay. So back to our diamond stone now. We've got to work around this again. Okay. Let's have a little bit of home right on there. Things are drying off. We need to build our shape, okay? So again, as we've already said, we're using the scary sharpening. Be something like a water stone. You'll mark this too easily doing this. So our diamond file will work nicely on there. So this is quite a coarse one. Trying to work around the shape, a bit more complicated than the flat one, take a little bit more effort. Okay. So hopefully build our shape. Flip it over, 1200 grit. Work around that block of wood that's just helping keeping us nice and square, trying to produce that crisp corner. Two and a half. All right, so up to 2,500. work around it, build the shape. Need to flatten the edges. A little bit of a burr. This is produced from doing the filing and the dressing. So we can indicate that, just tiny edge now. So we need to flatten that back. Nice and fine. Don't go doing this on the coarse stone. This is it'll be too aggressive. Our 2,500 is not going to put any deep scratches in the side of it. Bit of flush. Something up on there. I got there. Look, whole wire edge just came off there. That's good. And again, turn it over. When we feel this, there shouldn't be anything as a burr. That's good. Dry it off. Okay. So now we've actually dressed both sides. Back into the vise. Nice and firm. Could give it that Arno scraper or the burnisher. A little bit of candle wax. Okay. Help it glide. Sit it on. Got to go a bit careful. This bit flexible now. I'm going to come down just a little bit. Had a bit of stiffness when I do this. See where I can get to. Tighten it up. Onto there. My body stance has got to change a bit for this. I don't know if Cohen's got it yet. He's got his. All right. Push round. You can now see why I wanted those jaws that we've changed for. That feels nice. So that was 4 swipes. Okay. Again, using the handle as a guide of where we can set that up. Push round. A lot of body movement on this to try and get nice and low on that curve. Put it round there. That's good. Let's have a feel. We have our burr. Let's have a look now. You can see this now. Bring it down a bit. Look. Just catching. Nice. Okay. Back down to probably number 3. I think I'm good. Right. Okay. So on our grain on here, if I grab my pencil, our elm seat, we've got grain fibres coming out. The centre's down through here. This is all end grain. I don't want to line up with that. I've got to work across it. I can change the direction. I work with the scraper. Looks a bit dusty through here, but this is end grain fibres. As we come around the corner, going with the grain. Now the other joy with doing this, we can push, we can pull, either way, okay? The flexible nature of this one allows me to bend it a bit more, okay? So, all right, you can see that there, get a bit of flex. Allows me to get up into this edge, maybe change our direction. Push it round, okay? So it takes a bit of effort, and again, a lot of work on your thumbs. Quite a lot of pressure on there. We've got lovely burr on there. And again, same scenario with this. Cohen, number 2, mate. All right. Back on here. If we've got our burr, we've used it a bit, it starts to go blunt. How do you know it's going blunt? You'll produce dust more than the shaving. Lay it down flat. You need to consolidate that material again. Push it back over. Okay. Other side. I can work it round on the block and put it down on the block where we are. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. We should now have no real burr again. Back up into the vise. Tighten it up. Nice and firm. Round bar. A little bit of wax. Onto there. Push it over. Oh, turn it round. Retighten it. One more. Okay. So hopefully back down to the other end, number 3, I think. Okay. Let's have a look on where we are there. Good. So we sharpened it again. I don't know what you get on 4. Do we get a bit of a, have a look. So nicely done down there. We get quite a nice shading. Right, okay, let's just bring So you can see what we're cutting there. Beautifully done. Okay. Ben, how you doing? That's
Okay.
physical.
So we've got a quick question from Woodwork Learner. What difference to the finish does the thickness of the scraper make?
Thicker scraper will hold a heavier burr. Okay. It can be stiffer. Thinner ones, no, I'm a fan for thicker scrapers. Thinner ones I find a bit too flexible. But you've got to get something you're comfortable with using. You've also got to be able to bend it. Okay, and it becomes quite physical in your thumbs. Like I said, the little rubber things or the leather things we've got here, fantastic for their grip. All right, I would have put them on, but to do all the demo with different bits makes it a bit problematic. But great if you're doing lots of this, because it's a lot of pressure on your thumbs in behind. So you need to be able to bend them. Now, if you're doing something with a tighter curve in the corner, especially on a gooseneck, something more flexible will allow me to get right into that corner. Okay, so expect and just flip up to 4 for me, can you? Okay, so by having this more flexible, I can get right into an edge, more delicate. Okay, I'll go with something stiffer, not as easy to bend to get in a tighter curve. So that can be one area. With the straight ones, similar sort of thing, depends on where you're trying to get into. A heavier scraper, thicker, will hold the burr probably longer because there's more material behind it supporting it. All right. So hopefully up to there, okay? So you can see how we can sharpen our curved scraper. Now, why do we want to use a scraper? Something like our bow, where we got? Might want to be 3, I think. I want to see what we get on there. Okay, all right. So we got our arm bow. You can do your picture in the bottom right hand or left hand corner. Okay, all right. Now we've got our arm bow here, a curve that we use. We need to clean up the inside and outside when we make these. And again, we get the guys go, I can get in here with a spoke shape. All right. You can with some. Other problem we find is that we steam bend these, it pulls the fibres. So spoke shapes don't always leave a good finish as what you'd like. And the grain reversal issue of things coming in and out cause real issues with when we've done this. So your scraper can be great to get into here. I can pull it up through, all right. We can push, all right. So we can work in either direction. We haven't got to worry too much about where the grain's going. If I've got something, a little bit of tear out there, I can deliberately angle across it. So I'm not pushing parallel to the work, I'm actually going across. So on here, there's tiny dent. Compression mark off the steam bending. I can go diagonally, scrape that in. A lot more refined than something like your spoke shape. So again, give you a better finish, it's more controllable. It's all about that control and getting a good finish. So let's just go back a couple of bits of wood then. So, and then we're going to change direction very slightly. This is something, is a piece of material. I'm trying to figure out a good way of showing you what this is. This was out of pallet. I can just about hold that there. And the two guys over on here are laughing now because they know how heavy this is. This is almost like lignum. Again, now I tried putting a hand plane down this the other day. Hates it. Pulls the fibres up, bit aggressive, nice sharp hand plane, even low angle. So on here, if I get my scraper, let's see where we are. I think you can see what we're getting as a shader. Okay, bring that over. So I might get that as a, all right, you get the idea. So something like that can be quite problematic. Our bit of ash. I'm just going to bounce right over to camera 2, Colin. All right, got a little piece of rippled ash. Okay. Amazing stuff. So the ripple is running at 90 degrees to the grain, comes down the side. We've got our angle of our grain there. Okay. Now, if we look at this and we plane this with a hand plane, our grain direction, and I think you can probably see this on the camera. You can. There, it's coming that way, coming out. So if I plane it, I want to be going that way. If I put it in the vise or on the bench, it's the wrong way round. So I'm going to have it there. That's the way you'd want to plane it. If I turn it round, the fibres are coming out on here. Exactly the wrong way to what you'd want to try and hand plane. But we can put it down. Now we want a scraper, hopefully. Nice sharp edge. Let's see if I can get it more in there. Okay, right in line with that camera. Show you a better shot. Okay, so got there. Now again, I'm angling across the workpiece, not square. Why? Because the ripple is running at 90 degrees to the workpiece. If I go parallel to it, I'll probably bounce off the ripple and dig them out. So at this stage, I can change my direction. But we're actually cutting into end grain fibres coming up. But we're actually getting nice clean finish. It's also dead flat. Okay, so we're going to go back down to, okay, just have a quick look. All right, you can see the ripple in there. Nice clean, okay. Really nice to do. And it can be the only way at times to clean something up. Something like a bit of oak. All right, same sort of thing. You get a nice shaving off. So you should be getting a shaving. Right, okay. Next little thing then. Still a scraper, but a little bit different. Okay. Cohen, probably camera 3, please. Okay. Basically, what's classed as a gull's wing scraper. Stanley made this as a number 80 scraper. What's the advantage with this? You have something to hold physically to grip instead of pushing with your thumbs. So it's less strenuous if you are working on a large area. But it leads to a bit of a debate because some of the guys will tell you, we're going to go with this one first. It's got 2 blades. This we've sharpened and we've got a hook. We put a bear on it. So we have a 45-degree angle like you would sharpen your hand plane. Okay. And then I put the burnisher across the top, created a hook. So same as we've done with the cabinet scraper. You can only do one side. This one, I've sharpened 45-degree angle, no bear, nothing. So the one that's got nothing on the back to there. All right, big cross for you. I'm going to do this one first. To get this to work, you drop your blade in. Fingertips. Now at the moment the 2 knobs on the front here are loose. I'll move my fingers out of the way so you can see there's a brass 1, 2. They hold the blade. Our blade drops in. The angle, the bevel is facing the workpiece. So the sharpened bevel is towards me. The flat of the blade, the back, is facing the work. This drops in at a little bit of an angle. Fingertips on the top, just to push it down. I'm going to tighten those up there, finger tight. Onto there. See what I've got a little bit, okay. There's a knob on the back. We can tighten this, it will flex the blade a bit. Now we should get a scraper, all right? Bit more aggressive, makes a bit noise. Other thing I can do to help reduce the noise, a bit like you do with your plane, bit of wax. Okay. Now, I find having this with a hook on it quite aggressive. And I will say I had got quite a big hook on there. Deliberately put it on so we can show you what's happening. Most people tell you should have a hook. Why? Now, on here, no hook. All right, so let's get our blade to drop in. Undo things again. Down in there, exactly the same way. So we've got that facing out. Drop it in. Fingertips just to feel where it is. So this is sharpened, a bit like I do a hand plane. Get a bit more tension on there. Now you can see we're getting a shaving again, okay? So, it's a horrible noise, isn't it? Okay? But we're getting a nice shaving. The advantage with doing this, you've got a flat blade. You're not creating a hollow like you would with a hand card scraper. Okay? So it will give you a flatter surface. But hoping you've realised you don't have to produce a hook on it. And one of the problems I know with this having a hook is the fact, a bit like using your cabinet scraper, you've got to set your angle up right. So if you have too much hook, there is no way of adjusting the tilt angle when it's in the holder. So it's got to be a set angle, all right? So this one will cut nicely, a bit lower down. So they can work quite effectively. But if you put too much hook or too much angle, you won't get anything. Now, a couple of you might have, we bounce around the last two things. Okay? And this could cause me problems with customers in a minute. They're going to make comments, okay? Two scraper planes, okay? Let's move these out of the way. Okay, so we have a small line Nielsen scraper plane and a larger Veritas scraper plane. Okay, both of these have a blade. Okay, and again, this is one of the comments that I regularly used to get down the shop from customers. How do you set this up? How do you get it to cut? All right, and it's a little bit, I wouldn't say mystery, but there are a few simple steps. Now again, like we've just shown you with the Gold's Wing, this, the line Nielsen one, small one, I have sharpened like a hand plane. No burr. The Veritas one, all right, don't think you've got a burr on there at the moment, dead flat. Now you can put a hook on it. It will make it more aggressive. But you don't actually need to put a hook on it. And this is something that I realised with talking to Deneb from Line Nielsen, because we put it in, first thing we're going to do, but there, that's where it's going to drop in, okay? I bring it over to my piece of wood that's there. I want to find out where this is going to cut. So the easiest way is to take it by hand and find out where it'll cut nicely, what angle you're getting. Somewhere about there. So I transfer my angle back to my plane. This is all adjustable on here, so I can tilt the blade. So I want to be about there, lock it back off again. Okay, going to put it in, drop it back down. Might be up a bit too far. Now we're going to find out a bit too much. Go careful. Got my hollow. Now, hoping. Got to tilt over a little bit. Got a hollow in there. Should get there. Getting a few shavings. I'm going to cheat now. I want to turn this round. Let's go with our grain a bit. Okay. It does give you that scenario of getting it to cut. Play around with feel too much, and I've got bunged up mouth. So there. See what's happening. Okay. Bit heavy, Jason. So what's causing it to be heavy? How much I'm pushing down when we go in here. I've got movement. That's better. So again, we're producing open, shaving, coming out. Okay, and it does take a little bit of setting up. The advance of the benefit of these, if you're doing a large flat area, easier to clean off a light area. Okay, quickly, give you a good finish, better than you'll get off a hand plane without any sanding. Your blade, we can sharpen, like I said, we put a burr, I haven't got a burr, a bigger one we can set the same way, exactly the same thing. So I want to be that angle, put it in, okay? Should be pretty good where I've got it set at the moment. Tighten that up. Need to come down a little bit. Open, not through. Why are we not through there? Okay. Now, that's a bit better. Now, I'm hoping you're watching, you can see we're getting big shaving. No burr, doesn't have to have a curl burr on something like this. Okay, if you get the curl burr over too far, it's not going to be effective. So it can be better just to have this dead flat on the back, use it, produce a shaving. Okay, all right, good. So let's turn that over, put them on this side. Right then, back to no, nearly going to do that, wasn't I? Whew, sorry, right, okay. Ben, how are you? Go for it.
So, Jason, you have a quick break. We've got a question here. Is there anything you can do to stop the heat building up on in your thumbs when you're using the cards?
Yep. So you can get, there is a Veritas holder, which the scrapers will drop into. These things that I said to you about earlier are really good, actually. I've seen a couple of other guys wearing these. So these are leather, I've got the small size and I've got slightly chubby fingers, so it won't fit on my fingertip, all right? So these are finger guards. So my thumb's a bit thicker. And you're going to say, does that really kind of help? It gets rid of the heat thing. All right, there's one other trick I can give you. Let's get this on. I was going to wear them all the way through, but okay, back to there. We've got our flat scraper we sharpened. Quite nice to be able to grip on these. All right, so Cohen, maybe go back to 4 for me, can you? Okay, so these are leather-faced, elastic-backed, something to grip with. Now, if any of you do any carving or that sort of thing, where you want to grip the work in carving, they act as finger protectors as well, so you won't cut through the leather that easily. They're good to grip with. They give you something nice and firm to hold. All right. They also stiffen your fingertips a bit, or your thumbs. And the guys in here are very, I've got quite weak thumbs from doing lots of playing with my scrapers. So I actually quite like the idea of this as something that adds a bit of strength, stops the burning, all right, because they do get hot. Other little trick, and we've all done with different things, bit of wax. Right? So that will reduce the vibration, help things glide a bit better. Look at that, look. Fine cutting tool, is it not? I don't know if we can get that. You can see that on there, okay? So we're taking a shave. We're not producing lots of dust, getting a nice clean edge, okay? So hopefully we'll bring it back a little bit better there, okay? So we'll do one more. I might take it down the other edge. But that makes a real difference. Something to grip with nicely. Just awkward for me to do the whole demo and put them on and off. So I kind of thought, but really good for that. Burnisher wise, you can kind of go with what you like. Round bar shape. This has got the tungsten tip in it. On the piano one, when you finish using it, got a little leather pouch to put it in to protect those 2 rods. Remember, the round side is going to give you a better edge for your scrapers for doing this sort of thing. If you want something paint removal, a bit harder, use the triangle edge. All right, does give you a nice little instruction sheet when you get this. So that goes in there, safely protects it. You need to dress it. So your diamond stone's really good for that. Don't go with your water stones or anything, you will mark them, okay? Simple block of wood can be good, all right? Give you something to work along. Last thing, once you've sharpened all these scrapers, don't just throw them in the drawer, one on top of the other. You've spent time to produce a dedicated hook all the way along without any chips, dents, or anything else in it. So it'd be much nicer to actually look after it. Our ones in here when we regularly use, it's up on the wall. All in here, in a rack. So everything nicely protected, okay? Hangs on, all right, so I can put them back out the way. If you haven't got that at home, you might want something as a holder where you can put your scrapers individually, keep them protected, okay? Drop them in. Put it in the drawer, that's going to protect them, stop them getting dented. So something just as a leather holder will work beautifully for those, okay? Keep them apart. Don't go dropping them one on top of the other. Hopefully you have found it informative. I'm sorry we had a little break in between. We're trying to figure out why and whatever happens to the Wi-Fi around here, okay? Hopefully you'll join us again next week, Tuesday. We've got Turning Tuesday with Colin again. So we look forward to seeing you. Thank you all very much. Bye.